Hey there, and welcome to today's video. Before you even think about skipping ahead, I want you to know that what I'm about to share isn't your typical social advice. We're going deep into ancient wisdom that's been proven effective for over 2,000 years. Wisdom that transformed ordinary people into some of the most respected leaders in history. You see, in our world of quick fixes and social media shortcuts, we've lost touch with the timeless principles that truly elevate our social standing. The ancient Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who rose from a regular citizen to become the most powerful emperor of Rome, understood something profound about human nature and social dynamics that most modern influencers completely miss. What if I told you that the secret to commanding respect and naturally elevating your social status has nothing to do with expensive clothes, fancy cars, or the size of your social media following? The ancient Stoics discovered that true social power comes from developing rare internal qualities that most people aren't willing to cultivate. As Epictetus, a former slave who became one of history's most respected philosophers, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This counterintuitive wisdom is exactly what we'll explore today. And I promise you, these insights might challenge everything you think you know about social status. Let's dive into the first rare habit that will transform how others perceive and respect you. The first habit is what I call calculated silence. In a world where everyone's fighting to be heard, mastering the art of strategic silence can make you stand out more than any words ever could. The great Stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium observed that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we speak. Think about the most respected person you know. I bet they're not the loudest in the room or the one desperately trying to prove their worth through endless talking. They're probably the person who speaks less but says more. The person whose words carry weight because they're carefully chosen and thoughtfully delivered. This isn't just about being quiet. It's about understanding the power of selective communication. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Be silent for the most part, or say only what is necessary, and in few words." He understood that our social status isn't elevated by the quantity of our words, but by their quality. Here's how to practice this habit effectively. Next time you're in a group setting, challenge yourself to speak only when you can add genuine value to the conversation. Notice how people lean in more when you do speak. Watch how they begin to associate your voice with meaningful insights rather than empty chatter. But there's an important distinction to make here. This isn't about being antisocial or withdrawn. It's about being intentional with your communication. When you do speak, make it count. Share insights that demonstrate deep understanding rather than surface-level observations. The second rare habit is emotional equilibrium. This is the ability to maintain composure and rational thinking, especially in situations where others lose their cool. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, taught us that the greatest power we have is the power of not reacting. Think about how rare it is to meet someone who stays calm during a crisis or maintains their dignity when insulted. These people naturally command respect because they demonstrate an uncommon level of self-mastery. They show us what's possible when we learn to govern our emotional responses rather than being governed by them. I remember witnessing this firsthand in a high-stakes business meeting. While everyone was panicking about a potential crisis, one senior executive remained perfectly composed. She calmly analyzed the situation, proposed solutions, and guided the team through the challenge. That single display of emotional equilibrium did more for her social status than years of career achievements. To develop this habit, start by practicing the Stoic technique of negative visualization. Before entering any challenging situation, imagine what could go wrong and mentally rehearse maintaining your composure. As Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When someone criticizes you, instead of responding immediately, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, will my reaction to this enhance or diminish my dignity? This simple practice will set you apart from the 99% of people who react instinctively and emotionally. The third habit that will dramatically elevate your social status is what I call principled action. This is about aligning your actions with your values, regardless of external pressures or circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." You see, in today's world, most people bend their principles based on convenience or social pressure. They say one thing and do another. They make promises they don't keep. They compromise their values for short-term gains. But here's the thing. Everyone notices this inconsistency, even if they don't mention it. The person who stands firm in their principles, who does what they say they'll do, who maintains their integrity even when it's costly, that person naturally commands respect. They don't need to announce their values. Their actions speak for them. As Seneca wisely noted, "Words teach, but examples lead." I remember meeting someone who embodied this principle perfectly. He was offered a lucrative business opportunity that would have made him wealthy, but it required him to compromise his ethical standards. Without hesitation, he declined. Some people called him foolish, but over time, his reputation for unshakable integrity made him the most trusted person in his industry. People sought his advice, recommended him to others, and his social status naturally elevated, not because he chased it, but because he prioritized his principles. To develop this habit, start small. Make only promises you're certain you can keep. When you say you'll do something, do it, no matter how inconvenient it becomes. As Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. The fourth habit is strategic generosity. Now, this isn't about throwing money around or doing favors to buy friendship. It's about developing what the Stoics called philanthropia, a genuine love for humanity that manifests in thoughtful actions that benefit others. Musonius Rufus, often called the Roman Socrates, taught that true nobility comes from contributing to the common good. He believed that our worth isn't measured by what we accumulate, but by how we serve others. This kind of generosity isn't transactional, it's transformational. Think about the most respected people in any community. They're often the ones who give their time, knowledge, and resources without expecting anything in return. They're the ones who help others succeed, who share opportunities, who lift others up. This kind of generosity creates a natural magnetism that money can't buy. But here's the key. Your generosity must be strategic and sustainable. Don't give to the point of depletion. Don't help others at the expense of your own growth. As Seneca advised, we must be thrifty with our time. We are not wealthy in days. Choose your acts of generosity wisely, focusing on where you can create the most meaningful impact. The fifth and final habit is what I call intellectual humility. This might seem counterintuitive. How does admitting what you don't know raise your social status? But the Stoics understood something profound about human nature. True wisdom begins with acknowledging our limitations. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the world, wrote in his private journals about the importance of remaining teachable. He said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." In a world where everyone pretends to be an expert, where people argue without listening, and where admitting ignorance is seen as weakness, the person who demonstrates genuine intellectual humility stands out. They're the ones who ask thoughtful questions instead of making assumptions. They're the ones who can say, "I don't know," without feeling diminished. They're the ones who can change their minds when presented with better evidence. I've seen this principle in action countless times. The most respected leaders I've met aren't the ones who pretend to have all the answers. They're the ones who surround themselves with people smarter than them in various areas. They're the ones who openly learn from their team members, regardless of age or position. To develop this habit, start practicing phrases like, "That's an interesting perspective. Tell me more." Or, "I hadn't thought about it that way." When you don't understand something, ask for clarification without embarrassment. As Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, Be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. These 5 habits: calculated silence, emotional equilibrium, principled action, strategic generosity, and intellectual humility, aren't quick fixes. They require consistent practice and genuine commitment. But unlike superficial status symbols that fade with time, these habits build lasting respect and genuine social status. Remember what Seneca taught us. The greatest power we have is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. As you work on developing these habits, you'll stumble. You'll have moments where you fall short. But each time you recommit to these principles, you strengthen your character and naturally elevate your standing in the eyes of others. Before I wrap up this video, I want to emphasize something crucial. The goal isn't to practice these habits to manipulate others or artificially inflate your status. The ancient Stoics understood that true social status is a natural byproduct of genuine self-improvement. When you focus on becoming a better person, your social status takes care of itself. So, which of these habits resonated most with you? Which one will you start practicing today? Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. And if you found value in these timeless principles, make sure to like and subscribe for more content that combines ancient wisdom with practical modern application. Until next time, remember what Marcus Aurelius said: waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.